Okay, Hal, do our invocation for us.
Yeah, turn it off. That's good.
Okay.
No, leave it on.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet together as friends, as people who are committed to the future of our community, Longview, Kelso, Collins County, and the world. We just appreciate all of the things that you allow us to do. Especially we thank you for the healing that we're seeing in the members who've had issues, and that you would be with those who are having issues now so that they could heal and come back and be with us. We ask that you bless this food to our bodies, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Flag salute by Louis.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maryland's.
Country tis of peace, sweet land of liberty, of the I see. Land where my fathers died, and where my pilgrims ride, from every mountain side, let freedom ring.
Bob, do we have any visitors? What do you say?
I couldn't hear him either.
Allison Moyer is with us again. And Kurt brought Spencer Boudreau back.
Yeah. Okay. Tail twisters. Isla.
We're here.
All right.
Skippy, you can stop it now. I have a weapon, that's right.
Come to tickets.
That'll teach ya. Yeah. They are. Hey. Hi.
Really?
Cindy Sessions, who is the former past president.
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. Once a sad dollar because I was working the chuck wagon on Thursday night, and unfortunately I had to leave a little early due to health issues. But the good side is I'm back to normal now, at least the new normal me. And I have a happy dollar for you all, because actually it's $4. You won't see me next week because Jim and I are going to Vegas, and we've already figured out a couple of places to eat. Imagine that.
That's $1 fine for everyone that clapped. Don't call me.
You don't find him when they clap for me not being here.
Gee, I wonder why. Mr. Jim Reineke. Blah, blah, blah.
District Governor.
Okay, he's the past district governor.
Very good. King Lion, Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, there's $1. As usual, I'm happy because I'm above the ground and still under it. And here's another, here's a check for the new concession wagon. And with that much, I can use about 3 minutes to tell you a story about the concession wagon.
All right, okay.
Be my first job working in the concession wagon. First time I went into it. July the 4th, back in the mid-1970s. I walked in, Ernie Coons, Carl Park, 15 or 20 other people. Paul Mahoney worked at the hospital, and he always had these ice chests filled with weenies that he had steamed at the hospital. Nothing like opening an ice chest up with steamed weenies in it to make you hungry. We went into the chuck wagon, moving around. Somebody opened the door to the front. We're at Lake Sacagawea on the 4th of July. It looked like half the population of Longview right in front of that concession wagon. Back then, there were only about 4 concessions at the lake on that day. They went up, and we started at 10. Well, 3 hours later, I left. At that time, you did not have to walk from the grill to the refrigerator. After 3 hours, you just gave yourself a gentle plug, and you slid on the grease all the way back to the refrigerator. It only had one little vent fitting the grease. When we took it over to the city shops to clean it up afterwards, there were buckets of hamburger fat pouring under and out and on the side. And that was my day. I put it in 3.5 hours. That's the last time I worked, wasn't it, Terry? Yeah. Okay.
And hasn't worked a day since.
I really think somebody who is should write an article for the next Lions magazine about the new concession wagon, tying it in with the previous one with some pictures to go with it.
Great idea.
Good idea.
Come on now, Jim.
No, he said somebody that knew right.
Oh, that's true. Welcome back. Okay, then we got past District Governor Steve Patterson.
Whoa, thank you, Tail Twisters. This is a very, very happy dollar. We lived in Yakima for over 40 years. And, we enjoyed it, except for the heat in the summer. So,
She said, no, you didn't like the heat.
so one of the reasons that we ended up over here was the opportunity to get into a little milder climate. So after these last few days of 90-something, and it gets old, you know, it really gets old.
Can we help you move again?
This morning, as we left, it was raining. It was
Give me that mic. Just give me this mic. Yuck. Hi. Is that your money, my dear? Mr. Steve Johnston, past zone chair.
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and Gifts, this is a happy buck for this weekend. I took my car to a car show. My grandson was down from, and his wife were down from Auburn. And Sunday I had my great grandson's 2nd birthday.
Rick Johnson.
Good morning, Lloyd. I'd like to give a happy buck because Hal didn't sing that.
Yes, unless you have something else you don't want to say.
No, I don't have anything. Y'all done? Just glad Hal's not singing. I'll sing my
Remember, I have a weapon. Here I come, here I come, here I come. Oh. Well, I don't know why I didn't know you would say something. Because you never stopped.
President Lloyd, fellow Lions guests, this is about Jim Reineke.
Oh, no!
How much time you got?
Jim did work in the concession, he said 7 times. And when he was president, Lloyd, you might take note of this, all he did was go to the events and take pictures.
So,
He didn't work.
that's work.
That wasn't when he was doing it.
Called delegation.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I like
He
it.
was the first.
A good president knows how to delegate. That's working smarter, not harder. Yay, Sharon!
President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, there's $5, 4 of which is sad for not being able to work the fair this year. Had all the best of plans of doing that. Sometimes life throws us a curve. On the plus side, I took care of some concrete work that I've been trying to get done and spent a lot of time with grandkids, probably more than I needed for a while. The remaining dollar, I saw Skip earlier, so I needed to comment. A month or so ago, I love walking by his house. It's along the route that I take our dogs. So about a month ago, I was really impressed with all the yellow and purple flowers that Gail had put out in the yard. And I was thinking, wow, he's quite the Husky band. And now they're yellow and crimson, so they must be USC fans. I don't know why you don't get any flowers for yourself, Skip.
They're on the verb.
Yeah. I'm just shocked he planted something.
Gail planted it.
Yeah, I guess it was. Hal Palmer.
Hey.
Honorable President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, first, the happy dollar. Last Thursday, the sun is out. I've got two nice ladies from Austin, Texas, came up here for the cool weather. Out of triple digits. Oh, went to triple digits. We're on the river and we're going great. Friday, sad dollar. We're doing okay, except the engine won't start. We ended up getting towed into Astoria. It was crazy. Followed by happy dollar of sailing back in beautiful weather, followed by, this is the combination, sad and extremely happy dollar. The sad dollar, the motor broke again. But the happy dollar was, called my brother. I don't feel good, I can't help you. He said, why don't you call Rex Boswell? I called Rex Boswell. Rex says, I fell off a horse and broke my shoulder, damaged my shoulder. And so he says, why don't you call Dwayne? Dwayne calls Jerry McCormick, and Dwayne and Jerry came to our rescue. And it was just a wonderful experience of Jerry McCormick and Hal trying to get my sail under control. Probably the biggest wind of the day at the dock. So it was quite a day. Once again, Dwayne and Jerry McCormick, I'm nominating you for Line of the Month for that.
Did you at least buy them lunch? Did he, Dwayne, buy you lunch?
Next time. We had as much before I got here.
I would have just pushed him in.
Yeah. But then I didn't like that. Miss Cheryl! President Lloyd, are you impressed?
Very much.
Compatriot Lions and esteemed guests, that dollar is a tip of the hat dollar for the old yeller feller. And I really appreciated the story, Jim, that you told about being in that chuck wagon, because I've spent a lot of hours in it over the years myself, and there's a lot of happy memories there. I'm gonna miss it. Anybody else kind of gonna miss those days?
Thank you, Cheryl. Lloyd, you're up.
All right. Kurt?
Am I up?
You're up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that rousing round of applause.
Take that microphone, he's done.
Okay.
You want me to use that one?
No, you can use it. But Spencer can.
I can't.
This one, okay. King Lion Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests, it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's speaker. I've known the speaker for a very long time. I asked him to give me a little bio. He's kind of modest. He basically told me he was born January of 2000 here at St. John's and lived in Longview. I know. He's married to his wife Lauren, and they are expecting their first child any minute.
5 minutes ago, yes.
In 2021, he was elected to Longview City Council. That's his bio. Now, the thing about Spencer being modest is I've known him for a long time. The first time I met him is I was working with Dr. Kirkpatrick, and he was organizing lights to put up lights at the ballpark over on off Pacific Avenue. And Spencer was involved in that committee. I mean, he was in, I don't know, middle school. And then I've met him periodically off and on since then. He's a lifelong resident of Longview. He's been on the Willow Grove Park Advisory Board. He's been on the Go Forth Committee. He's a chairman of the Parks and Rec Board. Not anymore. Since election. You were the chairman. He's coordinated community cleanups and homeless camps. I participated in one of those. It's a sad commentary when you go in there and you find all this. It's very bad. And Spencer cleans that up for property owners. He gets a group of people together. We have a dumpster, and it's just an awesome thing that he's done that he doesn't include in his bio apparently. And he's the recipient of Pathways 2020 Civic Engagement Award. And so I'd like you all to give a warm welcome to Spencer Boudreau.
Might need a step stool.
You might be better off coming out front so we can see.
Comes off.
Take the handheld over.
There we go.
Move the flags.
Where do you usually go? This way?
I think it works.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah. Stay there. Stay there. I'll get a box for you.
The funny part is this reminds me of how my grandparents got married. They got married in Reno.
On a box?
Well, they weren't on the box.
There you go.
The officiant was on the box. Thank you, Steve. They got married by a 4'2" gentleman dressed as Elvis. He was in Reno instead of Vegas, standing on a stack of apple boxes. So, well, I am Spencer Boudreau. I was elected to Longview City Council in the November 2021 election, just a few long months ago so far. And since I got elected, I've just been really diving in. So, should I start with questions or?
Tell us what you've learned so far.
Well, I've learned that council members, no matter whether it's me or anybody else, should do a lot more listening than talking.
Yes.
It's definitely a different perspective, having gone to meetings for 5+ years prior to being on the city council, to be on the opposite side of the room and the opposite side of the desk, same as this setup, versus being out in the crowd and coming up to the podium and only speaking for 3 minutes. I now find it hard to fill just a few minutes talking as a council member. So there's that. That's one thing I've learned. So.
What's some of the issues facing Longview right
It's a really good question. Well, chiefly is how we deal with homelessness. And I know that I need to make this clear. I speak for myself, not for the rest of the council, not for the rest of the city government. My opinion hasn't been hard to find if you're on social media at all. I might actually put this back up there. Can you guys still hear me? We'll see. I know I do.
You're not required.
Steve, I'm ditching your box.
Rick.
I'm sorry, Rick.
Steve's idea, though. Yeah.
Well, I'm kiboshing the box, so it's not been difficult to find my opinion on and my ideas on what we do about the homeless situation as it faces our city. I've been on the homeless committee for 4 months now after Christine Schott resigned from the city council and we appointed Christopher Ortiz, our newest council member. Chiefly, I've been trying to work on homelessness and downtown. We have a lot of brand new businesses downtown. A lot of them made it through the COVID. They did well, and I think that our city government can do a lot more to, get out of the way in some cases, bolster what they're doing, which is stepping in the way in other situations. Really, the biggest thing I've learned so far, being on the council since January, is that this is a council that does want to do the work, that wants to be the action council and get work done. So, be happy to take more questions.
Along those lines, is there a plan for the homeless camp over on Alabama?
As of now, the only concrete public plan is to close it by September, sometime in September. the rest of the city government and a new separate committee that met yesterday in reference to working with the county is going to be asking the county for some dollars for a hosted site ran by the city or by a service provider through the city. That is the latest info on that. You and then you.
In order to move the camp, aren't they going to have to be somewhere close to the services that Longview provides?
We'll have you say that again in the microphone.
In order to move the camp, aren't you going to have to provide some way to get to the services for Longview?
That's correct, and that has been a big point of contention in the last 3 years of getting really nothing done from both the county and the city, is where do they go, and if you put them in a place that's outside the general city or outside the general street grid, how do service providers get there? Well, we know most service providers have transit. Most of the camp inhabitants also have the ability to ride paratransit, so those barriers are other transit options that we already have.
So at the shop, we've had 2 homeless vehicles down in front of the armory for the last 2.5 weeks. Who do we call?
So there are a couple options. Option 1 that I prefer is calling either 911 or the non-emergency dispatch line to report them as many times as needed. What I've been told to do, however, is to myself and also direct people to use the Ask Longview app, where they want you to take a picture of it on your phone, report it in their various nuisance abatement, property abatement, different issues that you can report it on, and do it that way so there's a paper record of it. My perspective, there's a paper record when you call non-emergency and they log it, so. We shouldn't have to be that techie to get results from our city government.
Where do we get to the council? Would you like a box? Would you like a box?
Spencer, I'm the Steve that they're talking about. I notice you and I have similar stature. And
We've got to wear thicker shoes, yeah.
yeah. This is a lesson for you. I want you to remember this. In fact, perhaps you should write it down. God made us the height we are when we reached perfection.
There we go.
You and I just got there a little quicker than the rest of them.
Yes, Spencer. This started when I was in the city council, the Oregon Way bypass.
Mm-hmm.
What are your feelings, observations about that process now, since it's in its roughly 28th year of discussion?
And again, keep in mind, I'm not even 28 years old, so this is a project that's older than me. And the joke is when something goes on the 5-year or 10-year plan, that's where it goes to die. So what's the holdup on that? From my understanding, they've had cost overruns, they've had redesigns. They finally decided to bring the mills into the conversation on how that's our biggest employer, our biggest taxpayer, our biggest user of that road, and they just now bring them into the conversation. On
They were at the table in 1994. The mills were.
There you go.
Yeah, you know, it's like, okay, it's just...
For me, yeah.
They tore the buildings down like they're going to do it.
For me, if they're going to move forward on it, they need to get their funding package and their plan assembled versus kicking it down the road another 28 years. We've lost valuable commercial properties to sit empty for 5 years now, so. Mark's got a question.
Spencer, could you tell us a little bit more about the Parks and Rec, since you're so familiar with that, and upcoming projects? There's quite a bit of activity in that area. So.
Yeah, first and foremost, right now with our Parks and Rec department, they are working on putting out a survey. Every 5 to 6 years, they come up on their Parks and Recreation comprehensive plan. So that's going to decide what they do for the next 5 to 6 years till it's time to talk about it again. And having been, on and involved with the Parks Department in the prior master plan, it's now nice to see a new survey getting put together. So that should be sent out online. It could come out in your water bills as well. It could come out in other aspects. They will be holding a couple pop-up open houses with the Parks Department to get your and everybody else's opinions with the survey, basically to decide where resources are going to be spent, whether we want new playgrounds, whether we want, spray parks or what have you. It could entirely go a different direction, and whatever the public wants and gives to us in the survey results is what they will present to us as council members in the end of that process. So we had a great summer concert series, and you guys were so kind to continue to work with us for your chuck wagon and provide food. The longest lines at our summer concerts were for your food, so it's the best food. So. Steve?
I'm Rick.
God, why do I keep doing that?
Because I look like him, right?
That's okay.
Not at all. Not at all. Rick.
I'm taller than him. I tell him when it's raining. Question. They had an article in the paper the other day about the street over there.
Beach Street.
Beach Street, as far as putting a park in the middle of it or something.
Oh, yeah.
But don't we already have a park over there, Archie Anderson Park?
Right, so the Public Works Department is seeking grants to do a lot of different street projects. One of these projects that they've decided they want to go after is a redesign of Beach Street and 30th Avenue from where Beach Street ends to where it meets Washington Way at that little elbow curve. They hired a couple consultants, and it actually happens to be the same consultancy and engineering firm that did the West Main project there at the Kelso-Longview border, if that's any indication.
That explains a lot.
There you go. So they have 5 different designs, all of which include replacing the current box culvert, which is why on Beach Street you have the center median. There's this row of concrete down the middle that looks like a sidewalk. Really, that's the lid to a 100-year-old wood-sided box culvert that was supposed to be replaced 3 years ago. That project got tabled just like IWOW, and the Public Works Department's solution now is to seek grant funding. And the grant funding they're going after requires it to be a green project, requires bike lanes, requires a road diet. Road diet is where you take a bigger road, make it a smaller road with less lanes. Think of Grade Street in Kelso. They also want to add roundabouts at 4 or 5 different places.
Yeah, like we can handle the one we have.
Right. So, as of now, they've only had the pop-up open house that they decided to have in the parking lot at St. Helens Elementary School on Thursday. They didn't go door to door and invite people, so they had limited attendance. But I wish I'd have brought my notebook because I printed out the online comments on the newspaper's article. 104, in fact, not one in favor of the project. So we'll see which one of these designs comes to us to consider and a follow-up.
Well, I parked the trailer at our clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
If you narrow that, that's not even going to go in there or out.
Yep. Same with the folks that have motorhomes and RVs that are legally parked on their property in that neighborhood.
I got a good question for you. Who came up with the mind fart to change Washington Way from 4 lanes to 2, especially when you get down by the lake, you go through those lights. If you have just single lane going each way, you gotta wait for 4 or 5 lights just to get through it. That's stupid.
I agree, and I would have voted against it had it been up for me to a vote. That was passed immediately prior to me coming into office. The grant money, I believe, has already been allocated, and they're looking at starting that later this year. I'm, again, not in favor of it. I don't like road diets. Who came up with it? That would be Public Works Department, again.
It's hard enough to get through Longview now.
Perhaps we should invite Ken Hash to the next meeting.
He's been here once, and I don't think he wants to come back.
Well, I might not want to come back, but I like you folks, so.
Add in a membership.
What? I keep forgetting to submit it every time I get one.
Hi, I'm Allison. I work with ESC 112, so I work with schools in the local area. And I was just curious if there are any specific kind of city projects that you yourself have a passion for that you would like to see move forward. Obviously, you're very involved with the homeless camp cleanup, but are there any other initiatives that you would like to see Longview City take on or improve on?
Better infrastructure maintenance and investment. I mean, we have a 100-year-old city in basically everything from 30th Avenue into the core is 100 years old if it's in the ground or on the ground. These are 100-year-old sewer pipes. These are roads with potholes that we fill one year and then come back and back and back. Case in point is Washington Way. So in infrastructure maintenance and infrastructure spending, I think that before we spend more money on bigger, shiny projects, we need to take care of what we have first. In specific regards, you're working with the schools. I am going to be a mentor with their mentorship program at St. Helens Elementary School this upcoming school year. We had a couple kids come to our skate park painting project with the Parks and Rec Department. His dad left him there, and we ended up taking him home, and the school actually sent me a thank you and said, we'd like you to sign up for a mentorship program. So I want to get more youth involvement with youth that would need a step ladder to talk at the microphone here today, not just as short as me, to try to let more kids know what there is that's available in our community. So.
Another question. So speaking of roads, I live off of Columbia Heights, and that's become like a logging road.
Mm-hmm.
So they allow them across from Maplewood, somebody's stopped, I don't know, and they heavy loader things, and it's literally like a logging road. And I talked to another council member, and he told me that we have to wait for something catastrophic to happen. I'm like, why not just maintain it now instead of waiting for an emergency?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, to me, it's senseless. It's like to maintain the roads.
Absolutely. So I don't know which council member you talked to, but our federal budget request actually that was granted includes a big pot of money to completely redo Columbia Heights Road from Hillcrest Store to where it meets the four-way stop at the bottom. So instead of patch jobs every 4 or 5 years, it's a complete redo, new drainage, sidewalks, so it's a safe route to school. If, God forbid, kids are walking that road to school, they can do it in a much safer fashion. Right, we've heard they are. So.
My kids walk that road.
So just as an aside, this is a project that Hal worked on before I got on city council. I worked on it for the 12 years I was on city council. Just could not get Columbia Heights passed because of the traffic count. Apparently it's not as, yeah, it's like driving up a set of stairs. I mean,
it's fun in a truck, it's not fun in a sedan.
Right. I agree. Since that construction, it is worse. It is way worse than it has been.
Yep. So work will be coming on that. The money, they've said we'll write you the check. We're waiting on the check and waiting for whether or not that'll be an in-house city job to do or whether that will be an outside contractor job. It'll probably be a contractor job. So.
It's an arterial.
Yeah.
This is an old
Spencer, a while back, we had a very nice young lady here speaking about the roads. I live up in the hills off of Fisher Lane, and that road is really bad. You want to talk about bumps? Kelso finally came in because part of that road belongs to them, and then they stopped because the rest of it is either county or Longview. I know.
Shouldn't be county. It should all be Longview at that point.
Oh, really?
Right.
Because she said 3 people. So I was going to ask which is county on that road and which is Longview, and you know.
It should all be all Longview or all Kelso.
Kelso's really making it look bad.
We also got to keep in mind Kelso has 12,000 people and 1/3 of the land area to take care of that we do. So our resources are spread pretty thin. That's.
All right. Every time I go down that road, my husband, I know you hate this road?
The delineation is everything, to my knowledge, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know the better boundary line, I believe it's the railroad tracks around where Phoenix House is, and then if it's north of Fisher's Lane, where the old water treatment plant is, so you're talking back towards the hill. That's Longview. Yeah, that's Longview.
That's Cannon Ave.
And then the road work stopped.
I feel like every council member should hold a meeting like this once a month, actually. Rick.
Hey, you got it right.
I did it.
That's me again. Hey, do you guys get a kickback from the towing companies for all the cars that go in the old Commerce?
No, we get nothing.
Oh, you should get something.
The whole reason those exist is because, another grant project, the state gave us the money to redo the streetscape 5, 6, 7 years ago and said if you're going to do it and use our money, you have to make rain gardens that are eco-friendly because we have to care about the fishies.
Yeah.
So the fish might get up there on Commerce, so they have to make it accommodating so that it filters the rainwater before it goes into the storm drains.
Just because the grants are available, does that mean you have to use them all?
Doesn't mean that I have to use them all. But if staff cobble together funding for a project, their choice is either grant work or they ask us to find money or we ask you kind folks for money. And I don't like asking you kind folks for money. More questions?
One more question. So I have a question about the water department. And I don't know if you'll answer this or not, but my mother-in-law owns the building next to the shop and she's got renters. As long as they pay their current water bill, they don't get disconnected, but they have over $400 each in past due water bills. And if they move out, she has to pay. So why aren't they collecting all of the past due money?
There we go. I didn't even know that either. So, as far as water goes, I know water quality has been an issue for almost everybody since the water treatment. I know, right? We have a solution that is going to fix the silica.
Cheap bottled water.
Other than that, that doesn't cost you guys any extra. So the ARPA program, American Rescue Plan. That program, we're using the ARPA dollars that are left over to do a new main fill line from the water source to the water reservoir. The engineers are saying that number one, the main fill line should have been put in the first place, because when they hooked up the water and reversed the flow, then you had not only the silica but the rust and everything else in your pipes out. It should have gone up to the water reservoir in the first place to filter the silica out, and that gravity should filter the silica out. They've noticed that Beacon Hill Water and Sewer District on the other side of the hill that's using our water doesn't have the silica issue because it settles in the reservoir. So we will see, and that project should be done sometime next year. So, no, that is a 2-year plan because I don't intend to let it get kicked down the road. That's the hill I will die on, is your water. So.
Yeah, I've just got one more question about rough roads. 46 from Ocean Beach to Olympia. I've lived out there for 30 years, and every year it's going to get fixed. And it's still a big washboard that goes everywhere but straight. So, I don't know.
We got the money for that in the same pot of money that we did for Columbia Heights. So.
I just want to see them start.
I do too. See, I get in trouble if I ask too many questions of staff, so that's my issue.
That place, we got a lot of kids walking to Robert Gray. There's no sidewalk. And a lot of kids come out of Windmere.
Yep.
Over there.
Let me know who gets you in trouble for asking too many questions.
Ooh, there are 6 other people that I work with. We'll start there.
Yeah, I think one of them probably agrees with you at least.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
thanks, Spencer, for all the valuable information you give to the club today. I mean, there's quite a few questions about where the city's going.
Any more questions? My cell phone is on the city website. The phone number that's listed is my personal cell phone. Maybe. We were thinking of doing a fundraiser, $20 from each person to guess when he's born and what day, and then that goes, it's a 50-50 raffle. Whoever wins gets half.
Do you have an application in
Was supposed to be in the cup.
We're out applications, and Greg won't share.
Application?
You know we've got a stack over.
We are out of cups.
We got a mug,
We got
but Greg won't share his applications with us.
Yeah, I will.
Okay?
I'll beat another one out of Greg later.
So, we expect,
Oh, I get to take this cup home with me?
yeah?
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
I thought you were talking about this kind of cup.
You can only take it home with you if you plan on returning the application.
I do.
Thank you, Mike. Okay. Louis, concessions.
Yeah, President Lloyd, fellow members and guests. I thank you for all the help on the concessions, and we need more help this week on concessions. I want to thank everybody that came Monday and helped clean up. We could use more people on that. And then if anybody wants, and I don't know how many of you want to, come over and look at the new Chuck wagon after the meeting. We'll be there to let you look at it. So,
What color is it?
Yellow.
we're
Yellow, of course.
we're hoping. Yeah, Cindy Sessions asked when we were going to get it up and running. We're hoping on Saturday at Brightline. We have, the health department has to check it out, which I made an appointment with them. They'll be there Monday at 9:30 to check it. We have to get it licensed, and Tom and me are going to go Thursday after the board meeting and get the license plate for it. And then we'll probably have to have a little bit of training on it for people to know what they're to do in it, which they should know already. But anyway.
Things are in different places now.
That's your job. Anyway, if you want to come over, we'll be there right after the meeting for an hour. So come on over.
Cindy, on,
President Lloyd, members and guests, we have a picnic coming up at the end of August, and that'll be Sunday, August 28th at 1 o'clock. It's a potluck. We'll have the new chuck wagon over there with hamburgers and hot dogs and pop and water. And so everybody else gets to bring the fixins. And there's a sign-up sheet there and what to bring. Really don't care what you bring, but sometimes someone doesn't want to bring the same thing, so that's why they write that. It's over at Tam-O-Shannon Park.
You said at 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock. And we'll have games there. We'll see who's the cornhole champion this year. So.
Well, we're bringing our little
Reed's
thing.
won last year.
What's her name? Yeah, Sue can't play.
Yeah, she can't play this year. She's too good.
There's a sign-up sheet over there.
Or she's on my team, one of the others.
So we kind of have a head count.
Sharon?
We are having a soccer, President Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. Our sock off is going to be September 13th. Next week I'll probably have some sign-up sheets for help. Also, I'm going to be getting a committee together, and we'll probably have a meeting after next Tuesday's meeting. If anybody would be interested in doing a basket or giving donations for a basket, I also need that. Could you contact me after the meeting or give me a call home? And hopefully I will have tickets here printed and ready to give out to everybody to try to sell to other people. Huh?
Can you wear shoes?
Only socks. No.
Greg.
You can wear shoes.
Greg Furt.
President Lloyd, no lines of guests. Tomorrow night, 6:30, Canterbury Park, is our monthly Sight and Hearing Foundation meeting. Anybody is welcome to come see what we do. We're the arm of Lions that provide eyeglasses and hearing aids for those who can't afford them. And it's quite a process. You're more than welcome to come see what we do and even participate. Thank you.
Terry.
King Lion Lloyd, fellow Lions and guests. I do have a couple of things here. We're running out of time, but I do have some certificates of appreciation for the Co-Lion of the Month for May of 2022. One of them is Sandy Cat. For her work in the weekend program that she handled, or woman handled, or whatever. And thank you very much, Sandy. And the other co-lion was Bob Piper for running the kettle corn the week that the board was at the district meeting or whatever it was that they did. Bob did a good job. Of course, he does a good job on that all the time anyway. Anyway, Bob's the other folks. The other thing I have is, believe it or not, I have stuff on the golf tournament. What? Golf tournament, and it's tomorrow, so let's hurry up and get this one done. Actually, it's the 27th, and I'd like to have a little meeting over there. People that would like to have a team could help me get sponsorships and all the help I'm going to need. I know Skip does all the work for me, but I'll let you work with Skip too. Anyway, if we could meet after the meeting over there on the other side of the office, I'd appreciate it, and thank you very much.
We have a board meeting Thursday morning here at the Elks at 8 o'clock.
At the Eagles.
At the Eagles, yeah. Anybody else have any important announcements they want to make? Spencer.
It's not what you're expecting or hoping for, unfortunately. No, I forgot to add. Our next meeting is tonight at 6 o'clock for anyone that wants to join us. So.
Okay. So do you want the blue one or the red one first? Okay. There's one on the floor. Okay, put it back in, give that guy a chance.
That'll thin out the odds.
I hate this unit. It just doesn't like me either. Okay. Well, last week I wasn't, so.
Hit it with a hammer.
I'm trying to get her figured out. Okay. There's one for you. Now, while you're doing that, let's do this.
Okay, 355.
Yes.
264. Jim.
Oh, Jimmy.
Good luck, Jim.
264?
Okay, red ticket 477 6512.
Oh, Darlene.
Oh, darling.
Okay,
Darlene. Where to, darling?
okay, refreshments, darling?
Ten of Hearts. Oh, so close but so far away. That dessert is here. Okay. Anything else?
Don't forget, Louis is going to be over at the shop right after the meeting where you want to look at the new trailer. It's a really nice new rig we have out there, and people need to get a look at it, see what it looks like. Any other announcements? That should be it.